Facebook, Periscope. I want to thank all of you for tuning in today. Hope you guys are having a great day. I would say good morning, good afternoon, good evening from all over the world, depending on where you are. I want to thank you for tuning into this broadcast today. We're going to be not too long. I don't want to hold you too long. Those of you that are coming into the chat room, I ask that you would send and share this broadcast with five of the people that you know, 5 friends, family members who you think would need to definitely benefit from this broadcast. I want to also thank you, and I also hope that you guys are having a wonderful day today, that you guys are in a good place mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and that we are getting ready to embark on some new things in our lives. We are going to be creating and expanding. Today I wanted to go a little different. I wanted to talk about 3 keys to entrepreneurship. I think that entrepreneurship is something that's very vital in this day and time. I believe that we are in a place in this particular timing now where it's very important that we take the initiative to create our own reality and that we begin to create the things that we need to create. And so what happens is, as we begin to understand that and look at it from that perspective, we begin to understand and know that it's with great integrity and great admiration that we begin to move into these greater levels of opportunity. Listen, I wanted to talk today about the 3 keys of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is something that I believe everybody should be striving for. There ought to be something inside of you, an entrepreneur inside of everybody, as you begin to get that yearning, that dream, that goal, the gift and the talent that you were born with. That's why it's so important. It's so important that we begin to understand and know what our destiny is. It's very important. That's why one of the 3 reasons why everybody is born, the first reason is self-discovery. The second reason is gifts and talents, right? Because in order for me to step into a level of entrepreneurship, because listen, entrepreneurship is a consciousness. Entrepreneurship is a way of thinking. It's a way of how I construct my thoughts. And it's not just something that you just get up and say, I'm going to try. There's a level of consciousness that I move into when I step into a level of entrepreneurship. See, anybody that's watching this right now, if you've ever been an employee and then you got promoted to being a manager, what happened was you begin to go through a transition, because now you're no longer an employee. You have transitioned to being a manager. So what happens is they start training you into the managerial role, which means that your consciousness changes now, because there's certain things as a manager that you were not aware of. There's certain responsibilities and obligations that you now have as a manager than you had when you were just an employee. And the same thing with entrepreneurship. As we begin to move into this level of entrepreneurship, we have to understand that entrepreneurship is a level of consciousness. It is about us moving into this new paradigm and this new mental shift of stepping into entrepreneurship to where things begin to change. Our outlook on life changes. Our perception, our perspective on life changes. Everything begins to change when we step into the consciousness of being an entrepreneur. And what happens is, thank you, Jessica, for tuning in. Jessica, if you could share this broadcast with 5 of your friends, put your city and state in. Those of you that are watching by Periscope, definitely share this. We want to talk about moving into the level of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship can be very scary to move into, because anybody who's been in a structured setting before, where you were in a position or had a job, you were an employee, to where you now was working, you were helping somebody else create their own reality. You were helping somebody else with their dream. You were helping somebody else with their situations and circumstances, right? You were helping them. You were employed by them. You were part of their organization. But now you have shifted off and stepped into entrepreneurship. So now you're in a position now where you're going to start creating and moving into creating your own now. And it's a different atmosphere. A lot of us are fearful of stepping into that atmosphere. But I want to encourage you today to not be afraid to step into an atmosphere and to step into a new level of entrepreneurship. Don't be afraid, because what happens is when you step into entrepreneurship, one of the greatest things about stepping into entrepreneurship is that you are now totally responsible for what happens, right? You're not blaming anybody else. Your success does not depend on what somebody else thinks. It's not resonated about who's helping you and who's not. It's not going to be dependent upon the people that are surrounding you and the people who are all for you against the people who are not against you. It doesn't depend about all of that. When you step into entrepreneurship, what you're stepping into is that it's all about you. Yes, I'm talking to you that are watching this broadcast now. I'm talking to you. I want you to understand and to listen to, if you can hear me, that don't be afraid of stepping into that level. Don't be afraid of expanding into that level, because guess what? Before one can be an entrepreneur, he has to see his or herself becoming the entrepreneur. You have to see yourself being, doing, and having that which you already want. So I have to see myself in the mental theater of my mind. I have to see myself being an entrepreneur before I can physically take the jump. There's something on the inside that has to take place. There's a changing, there's a reforming and a reshaping that has to take place before I move into that new level of entrepreneurship. Listen, those of you that are listening now, I want to encourage you to, if you haven't done so already, to register for our free webinar, which is going to be June 1st. The webinar is June 1st, and it's called Secrets to Mastering the Game of Life. If you are in a position where you're saying to yourself, listen, I want to make a change in my life. I don't like the way my life is going. I don't like the way things are happening in my life. I want to make a change. I want to restructure my life. I want to restructure everything in my life. I wish I could start all over again, right? If you're in that mindset and you're saying that to yourself and you're listening to me right now, listen, I need you to go to the description box, right? And click on the link and register for the webinar. Also, those of you that are watching by Periscope, if you can, just go to my website, IssacharBey.com. When you go to the top of the website, there's a link for the free webinar. Just click on the link and register. You guys can register for the conference. It's a free conference. I'm going to be giving you precepts, tools, golden nuggets that's going to set you up for success. That's going to open your mind up to new levels, levels of awareness, and bring you into great possibilities, right? So we're going to be dealing with those things. I need to meet me there, June 1st. I would like to see you in the room. I want to thank all of you for tuning in today for this broadcast to get these 3 keys to entrepreneurship, right? Those of you that are watching, if you're watching and you're an entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneurship is something that shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be a struggle. It shouldn't be something that you are fearful of, right? It's supposed to be something that you love, something that you embrace, something that you just connect with on all levels. Because really, check this out. Whatever it is that I'm going to create, whatever it is that I'm going to put into the marketplace, whatever it is that I'm going to now put into from the intangible realm and move it into whatever it is that I'm going to step into entrepreneurship about, it's all about me. Listen, there's no separation from what I'm going to be creating than myself. When you step into entrepreneurship, you're stepping into a level of oneness. Everything depends on you. Everything depends on what it is that you're doing. Everything depends on what it is that I'm going to be creating, manifesting, and achieving, whether it's a brand, whether it's my coaching service, whether it's being able to create more money for my family, right? Being able to create residual income, being able to have more than one stream of income. Whatever it is that I'm going to be able to create, I have to realize that it is connected to me, that it's a connection to me, and that it doesn't depend on what anybody thinks about me. It doesn't depend on whether you like me or you don't like me. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. I think the greatest deliverance in life is when we get delivered over other people's opinion about what they think about us. Thank you. Those of you that are watching in Periscope, when we can be delivered from other people's opinion. A lot of times when we get into entrepreneurship, we're looking for validation. We're looking for people to validate us, right? There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, right? There's nothing wrong with somebody coming to you and say, hey, look, man, you know what? I enjoyed this. I know what you're trying to do, but listen, I think you should do it this way. I've been there before. That's why I believe everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs a coach, right? Because when you get a coach and a mentor, what happens is they begin to give you constructive criticism, but then they also give you wisdom. You know what wisdom is? Wisdom is this. I've been there before. I've done what you're getting ready to do, and I don't want you to go through the same mistakes that I've went through. So listen, as a coach, as you come in as a client of mine, let me show you how not to make the same mistakes that I made, but also how to get to the levels that you need to get to quicker than it took me. Because I don't have to go through everything. You don't have to go through everything that I went through. But guess what?